And we're back. Hey, what's up? Holla back, yo. Yes, I'm making videos back to back to back on a Wednesday because, hey, that's how I roll. Yeah, I'm so cool. Nobody else thinks that. That's okay. Anywho, so let's get started. First, we're talking about the Declaration of Independence. Good job, you've mastered that. Yay, you turned it in. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So today, we're really exploring new content. Here's one of the misconceptions that a lot of Americans have. A lot of people think that we did the Declaration of Independence, shot a couple bullets, boom, threw some tea in the water, and then voila, fish and chips, we got a government, we got a perfect country, and here we are today. That's not even close. So one of the cool things about being a student, wait for it, is failing. And here's why. When we fail, it's not so much about the grade. You already know my thoughts on grading. When you fail something, it's not because of the grade. You fail because it gives you more information on what to not do next time or what new things to try for the next time, right? That's just as a student in school. Do you think that's the only time people experience failure? No, not even close. I experience failure at least 7.2 times a day, approximately. The founders of the United States were no different. They were susceptible to flaws, they were susceptible to mistakes, and man alive, did they make a big one in the beginning. So after the dust settles and Britain says peace out and France tips their hat and says see you later, we're kind of stuck with, well, war's over. Now what? People are happy, they're celebrating, they're free, but what do we do now? So individuals started getting to work on building a government. Now, this is where I go, and they created the United States Constitution with 3 branches of government, and the Articles and the Amendments and the freedom of speech and all these other things, and everyone lived happily ever after. Yeah, no, that didn't happen, not even close. In fact, the Constitution doesn't come up again. We don't even see that thing until 1787. That means, quick math, there's 10 years, 11 really, of time before the Constitution gets made, the current rules that we use today. So what happened in that mystery 10 to 11 years? Sadness. A lot of sadness happened. So inside the United States, our first form of government was actually called the Articles of Confederation. Do not mistake that with the Confederacy that we'll pick up in about 100 years from now. The Articles of Confederation was paranoid about the government having too much power, okay? Specifically along these lines. If the central government, the federal government, has too much power, they're going to take control over everyone and they're going to ruin everything. Please recount back to the Revolutionary War. Why did we break away? Representation, but also because they had a crazy freaking king that was in control of everything, right? We wanted to avoid that. We didn't want history to repeat itself. See what I did that? Yeah, cool. So we created the Articles of Confederation. Now, in the Articles, the whole concept was to give a lot of freedom and autonomy, all right, so your own choice, to the states. So we have 13 states at that time, right? 13 colonies, 13 states. We're just switching the name, all right? So they're all there for the party. Articles of Confederation were made. They're like, okay, so each little state's kind of gonna work like their own little island almost. They're kind of gonna do their own thing, but if something bad happens, I'm sure we'll figure it out, like, you know, war, because hello, Britain, they're gonna come back later, right? Unfortunately, there's a lot of flaws with the Articles of Confederation, like some really big flaws. Imagine this. We are currently, or at least I'm currently in Missouri. And a few weeks from now, or a few weeks ago, depending on when you see this, I'm heading out to Colorado because I'm going to go up some mountains because yay, right? Now imagine I've got money in my pocket and I'm going to get a burger in Colorado. And think to yourself, wouldn't it be really frustrating if I went from Missouri to Kansas and I had to switch my currency from Missouri money to Kansas money, and then from Kansas to Colorado I had to switch from Kansas money to Colorado money and then do it all over again going back home? Wouldn't that be frustrating versus I have $1, I'm getting a burger, which we all know would never happen because burgers don't cost $1, and if they do, they're probably not real. But it would be annoying, right? That's one of the problems with the Articles of Confederation. Every state has their own form of currency, and they're just like printing paper all over the place that's worth absolutely nothing. So that's an issue that they're facing. The other thing is, Spain controls the Mississippi River at this point also. You know, they're still kicking down in Florida like, yo, what's up, right? Well, if I want to use the Mississippi River for trade as a state, I have to negotiate with the whole country of Spain. Do you think I'm equipped for that? No. But what about the other state that's just north of you that also wants to use the Mississippi River for trade? Whole different treaty has to be created with Spain. Okay, that's a problem because it gets really discombobulated and really confusing really fast. But wait, there's a bigger problem than those two issues. There's no army. Yes, you heard that correct. The current day modern gigantic military of the United States did not exist after the Revolutionary War. In fact, the central government, or lack thereof, in the Articles of Confederation didn't even have a military. It didn't exist because they didn't want the central government, the federal government, the national government to have too much power. So what ends up happening is we find something called Shays' Rebellion, a dude named Shay. Shay comes up and says, government, you're not taking my buildings because I'm poor, because you can't pay me, because I don't have money, because of currency, because of economic situations, because I live in Virginia. It wasn't Virginia, but let's pretend it was. You're not taking my stuff because it's your fault we don't have any money. Remember what happens when you fight a war? What happens afterwards? And all of you just said, debt. Correct. So they got to pay that back too, right? Eek. They got to pay their soldiers with nothing. That's awkward. So Shay says, forget this stuff. I'm going to do things my way. You come after my property, I'm going to kill you. And it's that simple. And here's the problem with that. Shay says, I'm going to kill you. My friends are going to kill you. Stay away from our property, right? They're former military from the Revolutionary War. That means they have guns and ammunition, guys. Yay, spoils war. So the national government should come down and say, we're going to march a militia in here and take care of it. They don't have one. Shays' Rebellion's out of control. They wind up having to pay a military to come in and take care of it. That's an issue. So at that point, it really shakes the foundation of the United States, and people are going, wait, we have no money. We're dirt poor. People are starving to death. And if there's a rebellion of some sort, we have no military to put it down also. That's a lot of problems with a piece of paper that's supposed to be the government, the Articles of Confederation. So everyone goes back to work and says, this isn't going to work. We need something different. And before you know it, they're meeting again, and they're going to start hammering out this thing called the U.S. Constitution, which we'll explore later. Today, though, your big thing is to take what I just said, hey, go back into the research tab, look in the section that says Articles of Confederation. You're going to take apart that thing, okay, bit and pieces, and you're going to find some of the major issues with it. All right, you're going to highlight it. You're going to explain why that could be an issue within a country. It's exactly what it sounds like. There's no trick question behind it. All right, that's all you got to do. Check that out, highlight it, note it, submit it, get the points, learn about the articles. Yay! And actually, in case anyone ever goes, when are we going to learn about this in real life? I just want to let you know right now, my debate students this year have been attacked about this thing called federalism in debate rounds, and they forgot their information because they didn't pay attention and take notes about federalism from the Articles of Confederation, about this big battle between states' rights and the national government. Because if you think we're done with this battle, it's far from over. We're going to see this battle come up again, well, all the way up to October 14th, 2020, and most likely beyond. All right? So check out the articles. It's a fun little tidbit about U.S. history and this whole thing of like, we tried and we failed miserably. Peace.